Hey folks, this clip is brought to you by Rattle and Snap Tennessee Whiskey from Logsdale Distillery. Make your own luck just like Tennessee football's fast-paced Rattle and Snap offense with Rattle and Snap Tennessee Whiskey. This could be a lethal offensive class and a pretty good defensive class. So just keep it coming. Keep it rolling. And yeah, I think that's it on the recruiting front. Might change lanes here in this final segment from what I thought we were gonna talk about. Maybe we need to talk about this Jim Harbaugh situation a little bit because I saw Tennessee. There were some people trying to tie in Tennessee with this Jim Harbaugh situation. Maybe we'll talk about that right after I tell you about our last great sponsor, Superbook Sports. If I can find the read here, we're changing the game. Help your bets stay hot this summer at Superbook Sports, the most trusted name in sports gambling with a direct line to Las Vegas. And now, when you use the promo code A to Z, ATOZ, you score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, Superbook will match your first bet up to $250 with promo code A to Z. Download the Superbook Sports app, enter the promo code A to Z, ATOZ, and you'll get $250 courtesy of Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Superbook Sports. Go download that app. Get there. Now, we were going to talk about something that 247 Sports wrote, this sort of silly list about what was going to be the most loud environments in college football this season. And I believe their number one was Neyland Stadium against Georgia, or Tennessee in Neyland Stadium against Georgia this season. And I was going to kind of lead that into a sort of conversation just around some of the biggest games for Tennessee this season. But let's go here. So Jim Harbaugh gets caught red-handed by the NCAA and is suspended for 4 games. Now, he gets suspended for the first 4 games of Michigan season, and they are an absolute joke. It's like Eastern Michigan, Rutgers, like Northwest Tech State, just complete clown show games to start. Then they're all in Ann Arbor. So it's going to be fine. I mean, this is meaningless. It's ridiculous. But what I saw today was a couple of different tweets where somebody was like, Tennessee committed 4,000 infractions, or however many it was, hundreds of infractions, and got almost nothing. Jim Harbaugh, this and that, and he's getting a 4-game suspension. This is ridiculous. First of all, let me start off by saying neither of them should be punished. Players should get paid to play college football because they generate tons of money, and that's how businesses should work. But with that aside, shut up. Let's shut up. Because first of all, Jim Harbaugh is still the coach at Michigan, which I think is the biggest thing here. And I believe an element of this was that he lied, right?
That was the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah.
He lied. It was just level 2 violations.
But lied about them directly. And let's not forget, ye old Bruce Pearl went down at Tennessee for lying to the NCAA. And so, I mean, you can get fired. Now, I don't think the NCAA made Tennessee fire Bruce Pearl. He ultimately got a show cause, but, he gets fired. And, this is just stop. What are you talking about? Tennessee fired absolutely everybody. They cooperated to a point with the NCAA that they probably shouldn't have. And then, they get out on the other side, having gone through 3 entire years of garbage, and finally come out on the other side scathed, or I guess you could say hit, but mostly unscathed, injured. But hey, you just got it done with an 11-2 season. And Jim Harbaugh's still there, lied to the NCAA, gets a 4-game suspension for games that are complete jokes. Just quit. Just stop it. This was silly, and I can't stand it.
I wonder how Michigan fans feel about Jim Harbaugh at this point, because every offseason he flirts with the NFL. It looks like he's going, and then he doesn't get hired. And maybe I think some of this was going down around that same time whenever he lied to the investigators or refused to admit that he lied. I think he had the most flimsy excuse. Is he said he didn't mean to lie, that he couldn't really remember, which is, the worst excuse ever. I think it's what every bad criminal's ever tried to use. But I mean, how do they feel about this guy? He does win some games, but he hasn't won them a championship. He's not done well against Ohio State. I'm not sure where the upside here is to really giving this guy everything he wants when he's like Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State in a way.
The only reason he has not gotten fired is because he's beaten Ohio State the last 2 years. That is it. I mean, he was on thin ice before the last 2 seasons. And that has saved him completely. But now you've done it. And that's you got all the way to the playoff and you blew it against a team that went into the national championship game and lost by 70, or however much it was. Wasn't it literally 65-7 or something? Stupid. And you lost to the 7 team out of the 65-7. And they're not going to fire him. He's winning literally every game but the playoff games. And so, and I guess they made the playoff the year before. They lost to Georgia. Georgia won the national championship. It's a real nice problem to have, to be making it to the playoff 2 years in a row, and then you lose in the playoff because you're still there. Back-to-back Big Ten champions. Big Ten Jeff is an absolute shambles because his team plays terrible teams all year and then loses the one actual game they play. It just with Harbaugh, I mean, he's kind of in a position like, what are you going to do? Fire me? Where are you going to go? Go to the guy? Like, who is it going to be? Who are you going to go get? I guess that's got to be what they're thinking, right?
Yeah, it has to be, because he's almost in a Mark Richt situation in a way. Like he's got close. He hasn't won a bowl game though since his first year at Michigan, 2015. So like you said, he's winning a lot of games, but not winning the ones at the end of the season that matters, which ultimately Michigan, one of the most storied programs in the country, that's the expectation.
Few things go better with a Tennessee sports victory than an awesome whiskey. And actually, me and Jonathan Crompton had a drink of whiskey during the postgame show of every football win this past season. And more specifically, we had Rattle and Snap Tennessee Select Straight Whiskey. You can see it right there behind me. Log Still Distillery has released a new Tennessee whiskey product line called Rattle and Snap Tennessee Whiskey, named after a long-forgotten game of chance. Rattle and Snap is a whiskey for those who make their own luck. There's a 4-year and an 8-year version of Rattle and Snap whiskey, and actually, this one behind me is the 4-year version right here. It's perfect for making your favorite whiskey cocktails or just drinking neat. It's really great stuff, and I mean, you can see it there. The bottle looks great too. You can find Rattle and Snap right now in stores across Tennessee, and Rattle and Snap is also available in Kentucky, Indiana, and Mississippi. So run, don't walk to get yourself some Rattle and Snap whiskey, and follow Rattle and Snap on Instagram at Rattle and Snap Whiskey. That is Rattle and Snap Tennessee Select Straight Whiskey.
But you're right. Like, who do you go get? I mean, that's always the question when you fire a coach, and there just aren't a lot of obvious answers out there. There never are, really. They're all gambles. I mean, Georgia hired Kirby Smart. We really didn't know how it would go since so many Saban assistants fell miserably. I don't know. I just feel like I would get fed up with his shenanigans if I was a Michigan fan.
Yeah, he has treaded on thin ice and then come back to not being on the hot seat, and then you keep doing some of this nonsense, you're probably going to go back to the hot seat. He's an interesting guy. I like this comment. Does Ryan Day at Ohio State get fired before Harbaugh?
It's the same situation in a way, though, right?
It is, because he's now Ryan Day is going, and now 2 years in a row has lost the one hard game they play, unlike Harbaugh winning it, but then they go to the playoff and they actually give Georgia a run. Should have beat them.
Yeah,
frankly.
If
Shame
Harrison
on you for not. Frankly,
doesn't get hurt.
Yeah. That is a really weird one, because their expectations are super, super high. I mean, I could see maybe you have like a 9-3 season this year, and then they just get greedy and they go, all right, you're fired. Let's go get Mike Vrabel or something.
That would be their white will, I guess.
Yes, because you got guys out there now. To me, they do have options. They have their Jim Harbaugh in Vrabel. They wouldn't go back to the Urban well, but I mean, there's some guys out there. It's Ohio State. They have draw. I personally like to just answer that question. I do think that. I think Ryan Day will get fired before Harbaugh leaves because I think Michigan owes Harbaugh like $1 billion. I don't know exactly how much it is, but it's tens of millions of dollars, I believe. And so they would have to pay him a ton to leave. And then who are you going to go get? And they wouldn't have to pay him a ton to leave, I don't think, at this point. And I don't know what the buyout is. I'm sure it's not small, but and then I think they could go and make personally a better hire because it seems like Day is still, he's done some kind of living off the glow of Urban and just sort of like just skating by, and then finally he's losing to Michigan. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see.
He might have stayed. They might. I mean, they could both eventually. I know Harbaugh does it every offseason, but going to the NFL would seem like a logical move for both of them, or really any college football coach at this point, because we've talked about it plenty of times before, but the time management of being a college football coach right now is just insane. You really have no time off. You're constantly stressing about the transfer portal, NIL, trying to land these kids, keeping kids in your program. It's a nightmare life right now for a lot of college head coaches. So I could see some of those guys wanting to, hey, maybe let's go to the NFL where it's a little bit, shockingly, a little more laid back. It's just football. You just practice in football and that's it. You're not worried about classroom stuff and compliance stuff and all this other stuff. You're just out there trying to win games.
Well, we'll see. It is kind of ironic. I said, I don't know, I did a couple of different things about the NCAA stuff, but in one of those interviews, I said, I just really hope that this punishment to Tennessee is the last swing of the NCAA. And then literally like 6 days later, they give Harbaugh this thing. So yeah, who knows what's going to happen as far as that goes. Abolish the NCAA, let me say, make them go away.
It's almost like they want to be like, hey, guys, there's still rules. Like, we're still here. We're still relevant. And that's the main reason they want to suspend Harbaugh, just so it's a big story.
Yeah. They're like a substitute teacher that's just lost control of the class, and they're like grasping. No, you're going to the principal's office. Come with me. But meanwhile, they're going to the principal's office, but the class is still back there going crazy.
Yeah.
It's just
it's a great analogy. Yeah.
I came up with that one off the cuff. I was surprised myself there. Yeah. That was a good one.
It works. Yeah. Sometimes I start an analogy and it doesn't go where I think it's going to go. It makes no sense.
Exactly. Yeah. I pulled out a clutch one there. All right. Charlie Burst, Zach Reagan. That's a show for us tonight. Oh, so close to the season. We're really in like position preview territory, in game preview territory now. You're getting within that sphere. That's how close football. I guess realistically, to the first weekend of football, you're only 4 weeks away, because it usually starts a week before like SEC teams start playing. I think, doesn't Vandy play Hawaii or something?
I think maybe
that was week 0 last year. Vandy went to Hawaii. Yeah, so close. Can't wait to talk about it. And obviously we're going to discuss it all. Big Orange Podcast. Thank you for listening. Top Troop, Elias, Billy, even Big Ten Jeff. Yeah, you were here. Nugs. Thank you to everybody who listened, to everybody that commented. Seriously means the world. And I think that's it. We'll talk to you. Just messed that up. We'll talk to all y'all next week.
See you guys later.